Hello, hello, hello. I'm Undrai Fizer, and welcome to my weekly conversation, Profoundly Speaking. It's a joy to have you with us today. And we like to produce clarity and bring clarity to this journey. And it's not for the faint of heart, it's not for the faint of spirit. You can faint in pursuing what you're not convinced of. You can give up in trying to keep up with something that you want to understand, but your emotions won't allow you to understand. Our emotions won't allow us to understand what can't be understood. Our emotions won't allow us to understand what our love won't allow us to understand. Because in religiosity, and usually when I say religiosity, we think church. This thing really is not about church, and it's not about where we go to church. It's not about keeping up with some message or with some philosophy from someone. It's not about that. It's not about them or they. It's not about a personal situation with other people, and this elite and this incredible purpose has to separate people. It's not about people being separated from other people, because after a while, when you find yourself in the number of the separated, when you find yourself, it can become an ego thing, it become a codependent thing, it could become an anger thing, because it seems like you or me are we're the odd one out. It's a thing like that. And this is not about that. It's about those who've answered the invitation. Now, you can't just create an invitation to go greater. You just can't create an invitation. All of us has an invitation or a yearning or an irkling or a nudge to go back and perfect the thing. It's almost like it's like having that ADD, that attention that Monk used to have it. Monk just can't let the window shut. He has to close it and let it be even with the other windows. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Monk is that way. He has that disorder, like, I did 10 swipes on the table. I need to do, it's almost like an odd connective to perfection. It's that irkling in your heart that says, go back and fix it. Go back and perfect it. It's like when I used to cut the yard and I would go down the line and turn around and go down the line that I just cut. And it has to be even. And when you feel no one's watching, it's okay. Something in you says, let me go and run over it again. That little thing and that kingdom, that invitation is like that little nudge to say, go back to the original, go back to what it is. What I'm saying, oh, it's okay. What I providing grace for yourself, and just so I can just go on. It's not to be perfect. It's a connection, a reconnection to the original. All of us have that invitation as we're moving up, as we're going back home, as we're moving up to identity. But identity is only pursued when you're tired of wearing the costume. And so those of you who are on this journey, who comprehends that, and you're not the faint of heart, you understand what I'm consistently feeding you. I'm not judging you. I'm making sure that there is enough meat in the house for you, because you're consuming meat and consuming this food as you go. Because those of you who are pursuers of the life, not trying to chase it, you found what you deserve. And you know that whatever you deserve, no one else can pay it. See, whatever you deserve, there is no one in the world that can give you what you deserve. And you will grow frustrated when you think someone should give you what you deserve. Because whatever you deserve, you will live to attract it yourself. Whatever you deserve can't be given by anyone. Whatever is owed to you can't be given by anyone. So when you really tap into this life, and not just on a weekly basis, not every Sunday, not because I don't go to this church, I go to this church. No. When you find out and recognize what you deserve, every day you live that deservedness. Because you're not living to get it. You're living. How many of you are living what you deserve? You're not saying I deserve it and I don't have it. Because whatever you deserve, you have. You're not deserving of something and it's being held back. Because see, when we have a misinterpretation of this life, we would think a man or a woman of God is holding back what we deserve. And something in us will become angry at them. Because we're saying, I'm serving you and I'm giving money and I'm doing this. Give me my blessing. And no blessing can be held by a person. No blessing can be held by any man or woman. Because when the blessing is yours, you become it and live it. But our emotions can't allow us to understand what we're not yet in love with. Our emotions won't let us understand what we're not ready to understand. And it'll seem as though a person is holding something back from us. And no matter how much we find that a person or a leader or a teacher or a mentor, the more we find out that they're not holding back, but our emotions won't let us understand what we're not ready to understand. And so therefore the friction continues in the pursuit. We talked, and I won't be long, we talked about a scripture this morning. It was in 1 Corinthians 1:18. It says, for the preaching of the gospel is to them who perish foolishness. For the preaching of the cross is to them who perish is considered foolish. The preaching of the cross is not a message of a crucifixion. How many of you know what the message of the cross is? How many of you really understand what the preaching of the cross is? The preaching of the cross is an awakening truth. The preaching of the cross is not about the cross. It's not about Easter. It's not about Jesus dying. The preaching of the cross is an awakening truth that causes you to remember everything you lost. That causes you to remember. But the deceitfulness of remembering what we lost is that we've replaced what we've lost with other good things that suffice. And when you've replaced what you've lost with good things that suffice, learning how to unlove what you replaced the lost things with becomes a chore, because I've lived so long forgetting who I am till I replace what I forgot with something that's good enough to suffice. How do I learn to unlove what suffice? How can I learn to unlove what I've replaced my forgotten identity with? I don't know how to unlove it and go to what I forgot when I've replaced what I forgot with something that suffices. Raise your hand. I can't see you, but raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of hard to return to the original when I've replaced my identity with something just as good. And so the preaching of the cross, the awakening message of the truth of the kingdom, or the original intent, or the summonings from your originality. What is the message of the kingdom? It's the summonings from the place of your originality. It's your real home making a phone call to your spirit. It's who you really are making a call to the foster parent. It's your real father making a call to the foster parent saying, I want to talk to you. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's home calling my orphanage. But when you're raised in the orphanage, you don't know you had a home. Now you understand the vernacular, you understand the example, but your emotions won't let you tap into it to make you despise the orphanage to go home, because you've been fed real good. Religion is a powerful thing. It fed us really good. It fed us so good we don't miss ourselves. Religiosity is so good, it's so powerful till we don't miss who we are. We keep hearing who we are, and we feel like I want to understand it, but it's hard to ache for home when what you replace home with suffices. It's like when I would go to my friend's house. Let me slow myself down. Are you guys all right? Remember, I would go to my friend's house, and my parents would think, well, Undrai not going to want to be gone too long because this is home. And my family felt bad when I didn't miss them. And you begin to feel a contest between the person your child went to play with and home. And you're thinking that your child is going to call and say, Mom, Dad, come get me, because it makes you feel good to know that they miss home. But when your child goes to a friend's house and have so much fun till they want to move in with that friend, you're like, wait a minute, hold on a minute, hold on. And then you try to come up with all the reasons why they shouldn't live with the friend. They know when you're trying to find something wrong with the friend so your child can feel more at home and more valuable at his own house. Well, you don't want to go to Tommy's house because, you know, the mom and dad, that's not the mama's husband. And, you know, we had to loan them some money. You start making the friends, you start making your child's play friends and his friend's family less than. Well, you don't want to go over there because, you know, she got another child. You start finding fault because your kid that left home and went to the friend's house and don't want to come back to his house. He's having more fun at his friends. And when you find your child not wanting to come home, it makes you wonder, why don't you like home? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. I know I'm talking country right now, but let me know that you know what I'm talking about. Because you want to know, how come you always want to leave home? How come you can't invite them to your house? What is it you don't like about your house? And that's the way it is sometimes in our identity. You can't miss what you never thought you had, because what you replaced it with suffices to the point you don't want to go through the process of unlearning something that suffices. You follow what I'm saying? And it's like that. The preaching of the cross is to them who don't find value in this. It's foolish. I don't understand it. I can't put it all together. Why does it have to be people leaving one another? How come it can't just be this? How come it got to be somebody left behind and somebody going forward? See, the preaching of the cross, the awakening messages to them who have yet to see the beauty of the original summons. To those who have yet to see it, to them it's foolishness. Why somebody got to be left and somebody got to be How come? Because they don't see the beauty of the original intent. How many of you who are watching me right now, you comprehend the beauty of the original intent? It's not just a visit to a friend's house. It's not just a visit to a friend's house. You understand the invitation. You understand, you comprehend the invitation. It's not just, I don't see the beauty. I just don't want to be a part of the number who's left. After a while, it's not about the beauty. I just don't want to be left. And so if you become a person who just don't want to be left, but I have yet to see the splendor or the brilliance, you're still missing the kingdom. I just don't want to be left back. I just want to be included. I don't understand my calling. I don't understand what you're calling me into, but just to be left back is shameful. I don't understand the commitment or the pursuit of the call. I just don't want to be them who are left back. You still miss it because my emotions won't let me understand what I can't understand. I'm trying not to take it personal, but my emotions won't let me be mature. I'm trying not to take it that way, but that's the only way I know how to take it. How many of you, raise hand if you know what I'm saying? The preaching of the cross is to them who perish, or for them who are dying in misery, for them who are on that machine, for them who are going back and forth, for them who are double-minded, for them who have yet to wake up, for them who are addicted to the good thing but denying the God thing. He said, to them who perish is foolishness. I don't understand this message. I don't understand this message. But for them who are saved, to them whose eyes are open, to them it's power. Because it's not about leaving nobody. It's not about how come I gotta go by myself. It ain't about anybody. You answer the invitation. You see the brilliance of the house. You see the brilliance of it. You see it. It's first in you. And we talked about that. Whatever is first in your life can't be taught. Whatever is first is already in my system. Whatever is first is already in my mind. I already deserve it, and I gave it to myself. I deserve it. Whatever I deserve, I'm not waiting for anybody to give it to me. Whatever I deserve, I'm living my deservedness. Whatever is first can't be taught. If it's first, I won't treat it last. When Jesus gave us the kingdom, he gave us what was first in his life to those who treated it last in their life. Whatever is first in my life is already done. Whatever is first in my life is already complete. Y'all tracking with me? Whatever is already first in my life was not taught to be first, because my heart desires. See, it's hard to go to my friend's house and I love it and try to act like I miss home. When I don't miss home, I would rather stay. I want to stay at my friend's house so much that I'm calling his mama my mama. Have you been there? I'm calling his daddy my daddy. I'm calling him my play brother. I'm calling his mama my play mama. I don't miss my house. I like my friend's house so much that I'm calling his parents my parents. Y'all understand what I'm saying? See, but when we have lived in a illusionary life and we finally go to our real home, we find ourselves not wanting to come back to the illusion. When I've left religiosity, not church, but a machine, when I've left this illusion and I go and visit my friend, and oh, what a joy when I find that my friend is my brother. The blessing, the awakening that comes when I find out that this God is my daddy. And I no longer have to call him my play nothing. It's like I went to Jesus's house and I was playing at Jesus's house. And I had so much fun playing at Jesus' house that I didn't want to go back to my old house. And come to find out the joy that I found out that I didn't have to go back to my old house, because the house that I'm having so much fun with is really my house. Do you understand? How many of you have wakened to the fact that this original dimension was your house? It's your real house. It's your house. You find out that this Jesus is your brother, that this God that you thought was giving your friend all the best toys is your father. See, that's what I discovered in myself. I discovered that I was in a foster house, and I answered an invitation to the real house. And my heart overwhelmed me when I found out that my friend's house was my house, and I didn't have to go back. How many of you can say that's your story? Because all I'm doing is giving you the truth of the real house. But I'm finding out most of us don't have no fun with that original intent. We're still struggling because what we forgot has been replaced by something that suffices. What we forgot we were, who we forgot that we were, has been replaced by something that suffices. And so it's hard to give up something that's already satisfied us, to go to something we forgot and act happy about it because I didn't know we missed it. And so we pray for arousal and a remembrance, because it's hard to miss something you didn't know you had. It's hard to cry for something that you didn't know was yours. It's hard to weep for something that you didn't know was yours. No matter how many years you heard it. If I never knew it was mine, I just got the memory that I've been told it was mine for years, but I feel no ownership of it. How many of you, raise your hands if you know what I'm saying? I don't see you, but raise your hands if you know what I'm saying. If you follow me, let me know that you know what I'm talking about. I can't miss what I didn't know was mine. And then I hear it and I'm like, wow. I'm saying wow, not because I love it, but because I'm seeing how far I've gone without it and lived. I'm seeing how far I lived as a non-God image and lived to tell about it. I'm seeing how long I've gone and how successful I've gotten being ignorant of the image of God and lived to tell about it. I live to tell about it. I've lived to tell about it, so I don't know how to miss it. So the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolish, but to them who sees the value, it's the power of God. And it's first in my life. It's from this first I live. From this first I exist. But it's hard to make first what's last. I can't make what's last first. I'm trying to make what's last first, but I can't, because I've replaced it with something else that's first. And now you're telling me to leave it alone, but I can't leave alone what's first. I can't leave it alone. You're making it make sense, but my heart can't undo what sufficed for me for this long. The preaching of the cross, awakening is to them that perish. Irrelevant. It's like, I don't see that. I don't see that. I can understand the heaven and the hell and get saved and good, and I can understand the basis. I can understand the basics. I can understand the equation of it. I don't understand the emotion of it. I don't understand the spirit of it, but I understand the mathematics of it. I understand heaven and hell. I understand Jesus dying. I understand what I should owe him. I understand him dying for me and going through that messy situation for me. I understand it on paper. I don't understand it in love. I understand it in the verses, but I don't understand it in the love of my heart. I don't understand it to the point where it got into the molecular structure of my being and it's shifting me. I don't understand it. I, I don't understand it in love. I understand it in that. I don't understand it in the celebratory power of my purpose. I don't understand it in the celebratory power of who I am. I don't understand it in the celebratory power where it reaches inside of me and creates a superpower. I'm still trying to feel like I'm missing home, but I really don't have to go back home. I don't miss it because I would have so much fun at my friend's house till I tried to stay another day until my parents found out that my friend's home was really first in my life and my own house. My family found out that my friend's house was first in my life. And when I had a problem, I called my friend's house. I didn't call my house because whatever is first in my heart knows my problems. Wherever I can celebrate is first in my life. Wherever I can celebrate daily, that's first in my house. It wasn't the scriptures that was first. It was where my heart found celebration. Wherever my heart found celebration was first in my mind. My house was last. How many of you relate? Yeah. Mhm. So I understand the mathematics of the message, but I don't understand it in love to the point where my soul reaches out for it and says, yes, I deserve this. Because whatever I deserve can't be paid by anybody else but me. You follow me? Yeah. Because the preaching of the cross is an awakening message. And an awakening message is foolish to those who don't miss home. If I don't miss God, this message is irrelevant. It's only relevant if I miss home. An invitation is irrelevant if I don't want to spend time at the place I'm being invited to. Feel me? So this isn't about losing people. This isn't about breaking away from people. You're going to lose them. Because sometimes saying who's going to be left back can be perceived as a control method or a manipulation to a group of people who don't seem to be catching it. So you say there are going to be some people who left. So you got to throw that out there to get people yearning to be included without comprehending the call. It's like I don't hear the calling, but I want to be included. So it's not about who's going to be left, because people walk with Jesus and was left behind walking with him. It's not a matter of who's going to move on to the next level and you're standing there watching them, because some people have followed you into the level and still can't see it. Some people have followed you into what the next level is, and they have yet to recognize the level that they've been summoned in. That's a tragic thing, is to go somewhere and don't know where you're at, and to be communicating from that level and still don't know where you are. And then you're wondering, why are you talking to me this way? Why are you expecting this from me? because you walked over here to a level that has those type of expectations. You follow what I'm saying? The preaching of the cross is to them who can't see, foolish. But to them that can see, it's the power of God. Hey, I thank you for connecting. Like I said, it's not just a gift, a message, but it's an awakening to those who see. And I'm making sure there is meat in the house for you. If you follow that ticker at the bottom, if there was any offering that you want to sow of any kind, please do. Sow whatever you feel in your heart, whatever you've taken away from this store, you sow what you feel, and it's greatly appreciated. But like I said, it's not just a service. This is something daily that has arrested you. Because when I had fun at my friend's house, I didn't just want to go on Saturdays. I wanted to stay over there. And when you get this invitation and you find out that this original life is your house, you want to stay, don't you? I'm Undrai Fizer. I appreciate you joining me. Hey, go to the App Store or Google Store and download our Fizer Interglobal app and stay tuned with the daily vibe. There's assignments, there's questions, there's videos. Everything is being given to the seeker. Everything. And when you are really a seeker, you don't feel pushed. Like, I gotta try to keep up. Because when you're hungry, you keep looking for more food. But if you are avoiding food, then you know this isn't first in my life because I'm being bombarded with food that I'm not trying to eat. I'm being asked questions I'm not trying to answer today. You can't make what's last first. And you can't make what's first last. I'm Undrai Fizer. Peace.